All right, so we're out in the bush down by a creek over there, a bit of a different scene than my normal kitchen, and I thought I'd show you how I do my grilled fish over charcoal nailed to a board. Then we're going to make some tacos, some pico de gallo, and a little bit of crema just to finish that off. But let's jump back to a couple of hours ago where camp cooking really starts, and that's in your preparation at home. So we're going to make some pico de gallo, and we're eating this tonight, so I'm going to make this now because it's much easier to make it here in my kitchen than it is when I'm in the bush. Now, the biggest tip I've got for cooking when camping is to do any prep you can ahead of time. Now that doesn't mean you make this if you're going to eat it in a week's time. You obviously can't do that, you're going to take the ingredients to do it, but if you're eating it tonight or even tomorrow for lunch, you can probably do it ahead of time. So let's get stuck in. Pretty easy. We're just going to dice up these tomatoes. We're going to dice up this white onion, the chili, and the coriander, and we're going to dress it all in the lemon juice and a little bit of olive oil. So I need the zest of these limes for the crema we're about to make, but I want the juice for the pico de gallo. So we're going to zest these first, and then we'll dress our salsa. Now, notice I haven't put any salt in that yet, and that's because we're going to salt this right before we eat it. If we put salt in this now, the salt will draw out the moisture from the tomatoes and all the other ingredients in there, and you'll end up with a bit more of a soggy salsa than we kind of want. So we'll season that right at the last minute. But that's it for now. We're going to get this packed up in a small container, and then we're going to make the crema, and then we'll get everything packed up. All right, the lime crema, super simple. Sour cream, mayonnaise, lime zest, a little bit of minced garlic, and a little bit of lime juice, some salt to season, and done. So all these little things that you can do now is going to save you so much time and headache when you're trying to cook in the bush later on tonight. Let's go pack the car and get on the road. All right, I don't normally sit down when I'm cooking, but when you're camping, these tables are super low, so it forces me to. So the only thing we've got left to do is we're going to nail the fish to this board, working with some citrus and some oregano underneath it, and we just need to slice up our cabbage and we're good to go. Now, when cooking and camping, you're going to be careful about what order you do stuff. I've got one tiny chopping board here, so I'm going to do the cabbage first and put that aside. Then we'll nail the fish to the board, and then we'll get cooking down by the river. Let's get stuck in. So the cabbage is super simple. This is just a piece of cabbage I had left over at home. Just slice it nice and thin into the bowl and just break it up on the way in. Going to season that with a little bit of salt, dress it in a little bit of olive oil, and that one's pretty much good to go. All right, so we're just going to slice these manky old lime, and the orange, and we're going to put that underneath the barramundi just to help fragrance it a little bit. All right, we'll put that aside. I'm going to have to stand up for this part. So, got a piece of pine here, completely untreated. This is dress pine. When it says dress, it just means that it's like nice and smooth. You don't need to use dress pine. And we're just going to lay out these oranges. Now you want it fairly close to the bottom because you're just going to have the heat from the fire coming this way and cooking the fish like that. Limes. And then we're going to go pretty generous with the herbs. So we've got a whole lot of rosemary and oregano, fresh oregano. We'll take our fish. So this is an Australian native fish called barramundi, but you can use any fish really for this. You want something that's got a firm flesh. Effectively, all we're going to do is we're going to put this on this board like this, fairly close to the bottom, and then we're going to nail it to it. Now, the trick is with this is you want the fat end at the bottom because it's going to be closer to the fire, so it's going to cook quicker. Super important, when you're using nails, don't just go and grab some from the garage. These are stainless steel nails. They're more expensive. You can buy them at the most hardware shops, but make sure they're stainless steel. You don't want the iron ones or anything treated. And all you're going to do is drive a nail through it and make sure you get some through the lemons and limes so they don't fall out from underneath. Now we're just going to drizzle that with a bit of olive oil. Then we're going to season it. Salt. This is a little bit of dukkah, but you can kind of use any seasoning you want here. A little bit of smoked paprika works really well. Even a little bit of curry powder, which is probably a bit sacrilege that's going on a taco, but just something to enhance the flavor. And some pepper. All right, everything else is ready. All we're going to do is heat up some tacos. So let's get this fish over the fire. And then all we're going to do, got a nice fire here, push it into the ground a bit, put a rock behind it to leverage it up, and we're going to let it cook. Now it's really hard to give you a time cooking like this. Depends on what wood you're burning, the way the wind's going, how long the fire's been going, but you're probably looking at about 25 to 30 minutes. You're just looking for the flesh to turn white and to be firmer. When you push it, you can see it will start to give away a little, but we'll come back and check in when I think this is pretty much ready to go. So when you're cooking it, don't be afraid to flip it around, swap edges. If you notice one side's getting more color than the other side, then just flip it around and prop it up that way. And that way you should get a more even cook. Cooking like this is very different to cooking at home. There's so many different elements, and you've really got to use your senses to make sure that you know, that it's as good as you can get it. So it got dark really quick here, so apologies if the light's not too perfect, but this is good to go. Let's take it up to the table and I'll show you what I mean about it being cooked and how you know when it's cooked. All right, so how you know it's cooked is that when you push the flesh, it's still got some give, but it doesn't completely collapse, and you can see the white flesh underneath there. Oh, I just about dropped it. But you don't want it to be like, overcooked fish is terrible, it's dry and horrible. So like you can see here, I just push it and it just starts to pull away. And the best part is it comes on its own chopping board to serve it. Oh no. Oh, cicadas are pretty hectic. So white corn tortillas, flake some nice fish off, a little bit of the cabbage, Pico de Gallo that we made earlier, because I like it a bit spicy, a little bit of hot sauce. It's actually delicious. I think the smoke from the fire kissing that fish just takes it to another level. Thanks for watching, legends. Subscribe if you're not. Like this video if you took anything from it, and we'll see you next week for another video. Peace. Get stuck in, guys.
Nice that. It's delicious. That's next level.
Come have a taco, Mitch.